Welcome back to Good Day Atlanta. Time is 9:45 now. It seems like it has been the summer of food safety recalls, right? Just the past few weeks, a number of snack food companies have voluntarily recalled their products off shelves. This comes amid concerns they contain whey powder that could be contaminated with salmonella. So how safe is the food that we eat? Well, the Fox Medical team's Beth Galvin is here to talk about this. There's been a lot lately, Beth.
Yes, Elise, good morning. You know, it seems like every time we turn on the TV, they're talking about another recall. And lately, we've even had dry foods like cereal and crackers and snack foods being pulled off shelves. So we asked an expert in food safety what we should all make of all of these warnings.
If you feel like you're suffering from a case of recall fatigue, you're not alone. American shoppers who are used to hearing about problems with meat or seafood, even salads and fruit, are now being bombarded by voluntary recalls of safer dry foods, from Ritz crackers to Goldfish to Swiss rolls to even Kellogg's Honey Smack cereal. But Dr. Hank Denbacher, an assistant professor at the University of Georgia's Center for Food Safety in Griffin, says don't panic.
Your food is very safe.
Denbacher says the number of recalls is way up, but he feels it's because we're getting better at spotting potential food contamination before large numbers of Americans start getting sick.
You have to realize that you're always living with a certain risk. So there's always a certain risk that there will be a foodborne pathogen in your food, but the risk is much lower because we're catching it much farther up the production chain.
But what about so many snack foods, which are a go-to for parents, being pulled off shelves?
I think it's pure coincidence that what we're seeing right now this season, that we have multiple dry foods that have become clearly contaminated with salmonella. That's not something that you usually see.
Denbacher says the problem with dry foods is often bacteria on processing equipment.
There's a story about a salmonella strain that for some reason got into the nooks and crannies of the wall of a factory, and every time they did something with that wall, the strain would reappear.
And to keep yourself from getting sick, Dr. Denbacher recommends making sure that the meat that you're eating is thoroughly cooked. He also says stay on top of food recalls, and the government has a website where you can do that. We're going to post a link to it on fox5atlanta.com. And at least so it's really important because we're getting so many different recalls, you know, all the time, that it's important to kind of stay on top and realize, like, if you have something that's involved in a recall, don't eat that food, throw it out or bring it back to the store.
You got to know that. You got to know that. So how common are foodborne illnesses, and are certain people, Beth, at a higher risk?
They are pretty common. The CDC says about 1 out of every 6 of us contracts a foodborne illness every year, and it's really considered at higher risk, you know, for children who are under the age of 5, for pregnant women, for seniors, anyone with an underlying illness. All of those folks need to be extra careful about not contracting because they can have more severe complications. Most of us will get through it just fine, but it can be pretty miserable for a couple of days.
Very uncomfortable. So this is something I was in Kroger yesterday, and it's something I actually thought about as I was wheeling down the cracker aisle, and I was thinking to myself about, you know, the Ritz crackers. We'd had the recall about those, and you mentioned other snacks, so it's something that I think is on a lot of people's minds these days.
Especially moms, because those were considered the safe foods forever.
Right, you didn't have to worry about it. All right, Beth, helping us out. We appreciate it.